At Kolkata Ventures, we deal with hundreds of startups, and I personally deal with thousands of emails and messages, people asking me for advice before starting their startup. And a lot of times, the same questions. And some of them ask me after making the decision or after making the mistakes. Some of them ask me before. But I thought many of you might not have access to a mentor. So why not demystify some of the most common mistakes that startups do? Number one, you don't have to register the company at the very beginning. Many people think the first thing you do in a startup is register your company. That's the easy step. It takes 7 to 10 days. It takes something less than 10,000 rupees and you have a company registration. But why pay the government when you don't have to? Right? Do your ideation, market research, product development, prototyping, all of that. When you have to figure out equity or take in customers' money, you need a bank account, that's when you register your company. Number two, generally people think you need an investor when you have an idea. Without an investor, without money, you cannot start. That's not true. So many videos I've made on this channel, you can go check them out, how to start with zero money. So it's absolutely ridiculous to think that somebody would pay you for your idea. Everybody has ideas. Why should anybody pay you for it? You need to figure out how you can make your idea into reality, show that people actually want it, show customer traction, and then go to an investor. Number three, people feel the logo is very important. I mean, seriously? If these kinds of logos can be owned by companies making billions of dollars, you can only imagine logos don't matter. But of course, if you're in the high-end fashion or luxury products, then yes, your logo, your presentability, all of that matters. But at the initial stage, just put something together on Canva or Photoshop or PowerPoint even and get it out there. Just get started. The domain matters, but logo, it's okay. Don't spend more than a couple of days on logo. Number four, in tech startup, generally people think they have to build an app. Now guess what? A simple website you can build yourself, or pay somebody 5 to 10,000 rupees, 20,000 rupees, and you can have a basic website to test your idea, if it works or not, if people are willing to pay for your service or solution. Now, if you build an app, that same thing will cost you 2 lakhs minimum. It can be anything, the upper limit. Why spend on an app when A, it costs more, B, do you know how hard it is to get people to download the app and install it? Research says that people use 70% of the times on 4 to 5 apps that they already have, and they're generally Facebook and their banking app or their GPS app or cab app or food app and things like that. They already have it. Now you're thinking with a new company, a new idea, a new conception, and you are going to get people to download an app. It's going to cost you a lot of money unless you're willing to spend millions on app downloads. Please don't go for an app at the very beginning. Initially, test it out with a mobile-friendly website, right? A mobile-friendly website. Number five, people think they need to hire people when they're starting a startup. That's not how it works. That's how it works in big companies. In startup, you get co-founders. You get people to believe in your dream, believe in your vision, come on board, take partnership in the company and build, sell, market, right? Do the operations, research, everything, right? 2 or 3 co-founders is sufficient to get everything done for the first 6 to 8 months and get it off from idea to a prototype to a minimum viable product, right? So you have to choose your co-founders wisely. Tell them to be equal partners with you in the company, equal partners or not, but tell them to be partners with you in the company. And then together you can build your business rather than hiring people and spending money on those who really look at the watch while working. Co-founders meaning they own your company, right? So they are not looking at the watch, they're looking at that vision, that goal, that dream that everybody's building together. So you're working nights, you're working weekends, you're addicted to making your dream come true. Number 6, Do not get your tech made by students. Students have a lot of enthusiasm, but they lack skills, they lack experience. Even the best students from the best universities will take 7 days to do what a professional can do in 1 day or 2 days. It's just not feasible to get students to build something, because if you want to really make your product or service commercially viable, then students don't have generally what it takes to give a final finished polished product. So get co-founders who have experience, who have done it before, who have built it before, have the right skills with the right experience, who can get the finished product made in the right period of time. Number 7. Now let's say you have built your product, you have some customer traction, and you are on your way to showcasing that yes, there is a need for the problem you're solving, there's some traction, and you need investors to scale your business. Now what happens in number 7 is investors reject all the time, but they don't say that you're not the idea I'm looking for, I will not invest. They generally say, come back in 3 months, come back when you have blah, come back when you have that milestone. Some do say that you're not my kind of business and I won't invest in you, go somewhere else. But most won't, and that generally means that in case you become a very successful business, I don't want to be that investor who had said no to you and you keep a grudge in your heart. So I'd rather say, come back after a little bit, come back after you do this, blah blah blah, and they'll give you milestones. And some cases you might do those milestones and they might be like, hey, this guy is really persistent and it's worth investing in. I actually did that to one of my investors. I kept following up month after month that whatever you said, we are showing that traction, are you ready, are you ready, are you ready? And eventually they're like, let's meet up, let's see this seriously. And he invested. So both happens, but be careful that it is only natural for an investor to reject you initially, maybe once, twice, thrice, and many times. And there's a reason why 95% of startups don't get funding. And the reason is that it's hard for somebody to trust you with their hard-earned money that you will actually grow it when there's such a huge failure rate for startups, that most startups fail, right? So it's high risk, high gain. If it succeeds, 20x, 60x, 100x return on investment, but if it fails, it really fails and the money goes, all becomes zero. So yes, it's natural to get rejected, but be persistent, follow up, show traction, show month-on-month growth, show that there is stickiness to your product. And if the investor is serious and is willing to invest in your sector and you're serious about growing your business, eventually things will work out in your favor. These are the 7 myths I kind of gave you, right? That are lesser known facts, those who are new to startups, new to entrepreneurship, starting your journey. If you have questions, do ask me in the comment below. If you need mentorship, there's a number in the description. You can call my assistant and he will schedule a time with me. I'm here for you. I wish you all success.